This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. Now, normally I don't do a video for today, but February 29th is a special day, in a sense, because February 29th is what we call Leap Day, meaning that we usually see 365 days in a calendar year, but in once every 4 years, we see a extra day added on, which is today, February 29th. There's no major events that happen on February 29th in the world of sports. But anyhow, we've got this birthday boy. So there were only two major names that I could find that were born on February 29th. One was Cam Ward, who won the Stanley Cup as a rookie in 2006 with the Carolina Hurricanes and became a goalie for other teams. But I couldn't bypass this guy being the man. So he was born on February 29th, 1936. His name, Henri Pocket Rocket Richard. And he's famous because he won the Stanley Cup 11 times as a player. The most in NHL history and the most by anybody in the four big sports leagues, baseball, basketball, football, hockey, as he and Bill Russell have that mark. So anyway, Henri Richard was born on February 29, 1936 in Montreal, the seventh of 8 children. His father was a machinist for the Canadian Pacific Railway. One of his older siblings was Maurice the Rocket Richard, who was an icon for the Canadiens. Henri wanted to emulate his older brother and go into hockey. So at the age of 15, he was there with the junior team, the junior Habs, and led the Quebec Junior Leagues in scoring for 2 straight seasons. It was just easy to see that Henri Richard was just there. There were good comparisons between him and his brother. He was nicknamed Pocket Rocket because, he was Rocket Richard's younger brother. That the two Richard brothers' style of play was different. Rocket was known for driving the net brute force. Henri would prefer tactical playmaking and outthinking the opponent. Maurice Rocket shot left, Henri the Pocket Rocket shot right. The Rocket was a goal scorer, the Pocket Rocket was more of an assist thing and all that. Initially, Toe Blake figured that the two Richards should be apart on the ice because he didn't want Morris to give up scoring opportunities to his younger brother. However, after a few injuries, they were forced to play together, and they did quite well. Blake would put both Richard brothers alongside Dickie Moore on their team, on the lines, and all that. So actually, Toe said that forcing Maurice to play with Henri forced Maurice to be a better player and prolonged his career. And all that. Anyway, Richard's first 5 seasons in the NHL, he helped them win the Stanley Cup every season and all that. Henri was named to the first All-Star team in 1958 and the second All-Star team in 1959. Henri Richard, they said, would not flourish after Morris retired in 1960, but he proved them all wrong by getting to the second All-Star team in 61 and 63, and would actually be a hero for Montreal in the 1966 Stanley Cup Finals in Game 6 in Detroit, as he somehow had a pass bounce off his body into the net while he was sprawling and bumped into Detroit goalie Roger Crozier. A lot of people said that the goal was very controversial, and the fact is that it felt controversial too. But a goal's a goal. Well, Henri Richard actually scored the tying and Stanley Cup winning goals in Game 7 against the Blackhawks in the 71 finals. People forget that Chicago had a 2-0 lead in Game 7, and Antonio Esposito gave up a center ice shot to Jacques Lemaire to make it 2-1, and then Henri went to work with 2 key goals. And it looks like when he scores the cup-winning goal that he's pointing at Espo or something. All that, but I think he's trying to make his balance, and then he scored the winning goal. So that was huge and all that. Henri was actually outspoken in regard to perceived discrimination against French Canadians. And that had the Quiet Revolution and all that. But the 1971 final was very controversial in a sense. In Game 5, he was actually benched after accusing Al McNeil, who was the coach of the Habs that year, of discriminating against French-speaking players on the team in an interview. McNeil would get death threats and a bodyguard during Game 7 and all that. Henri would call McNeil the worst coach I played for. And thanks to Henri Richard's star power, Al McNeil was demoted to the junior hockey team in Nova Scotia to be their head coach, despite coaching the Habs to the Stanley Cup and all that. Henri Richard was promoted to team captain when Jean Beliveau retired. So that's what happened. All that. For 4 years, Henri Richard would be the captain of the Habs. After Buffalo eliminated Montreal in the playoffs in 1975, he retired, becoming the 9th player to reach 1,000 points in his NHL career. He still holds the franchise record for most regular season games played by Hab with 1,256. Practically, you have to play roughly 15 and a half seasons with the same team and play every game to get close to his mark. Henri would win 11 Stanley Cups as a Hab, making him the highest in NHL history in that regard, and tying him with Bill Russell for most by a player. And he scored 2 Stanley Cup winning goals, only one of 5 people to do so. The Habs would retire as number 16 in December of 1975. And he did quite well. He got to the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1979, was an ambassador with the Canadiens organization, and then somehow got Alzheimer's disease. Henri Richard would die at the age of 84, March 6, 2020, 20 years after his brother, due to complications with Alzheimer's in Laval. Richard's son even said that he was diagnosed with stage 3 CTE posthumously. Regardless of that, 1,256 games as a Hab. In the regular season, 1,046 points, including 358 goals. And in the playoffs, 129 points in 180 games. Got to the All-Star game 9 times, the Bill Masterton Trophy for perseverance in 1974, 1-time first All-Star team, 3-time second All-Star team, and 11-time Stanley Cup champion. 1956, 1957, 1958, 1959, 1960, 1965, 66, 68, 69, 71, and 73. Those were the 11 times he was on the Stanley Cup winning team. And it all worked for Pocket Rocket, as he was a Montreal ambassador for all time and didn't have to live in his older brother's shadow. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.